Hi everybody, so we are on lesson 3 now. Okay, so yesterday was all about planning, and it's really important that you've completed your plan and got as much detail on as you can, because the next stage is the actual writing, and the writing is much easier if you've got a detailed plan. So do take a couple of minutes just to read through your plan and check you've got everything that you need for today. Okay, just to get you thinking, spend a couple of moments thinking what are the structural features of a non-chronological report and what are the language features. So right at the beginning of this week, we said we knew what a non-chronological report was like because it had certain features. Okay, so pause the video now and see if you can remember any of those for me, please. Okay, how did you get on? Okay, so it must contain an introduction. It's got to give detailed description. There has to be paragraphs about one idea or one theme, and it often has a conclusion at the end as well. We are writing in the present tense, okay? We're writing about something that is still happening or something that we can still do now. There's sometimes technical vocabulary. We have to give factual information description. We use general language, okay? And we always write in the third person, okay? We are not using the pronouns I or me or mine because they are first person. Okay, so let's get on to actually writing today. So the task sheet that you've got is a lined piece of paper for you to start writing your report on. Now, this is actually what we call a draft, okay? You are going to be writing this up as your final version at the end of the week, okay? But it's really important to get your sentence structure accurate here. Okay, so from your plan, you should have got an introduction box that looks something like this. It might not be exactly the same as mine. The 4 points I want to get across in my introduction are these. There may be more for you. This is just an example. So how am I going to change these sentences, okay, very factual sentences, into more detailed expanded ones? Okay, so remember the first thing that needs to go at the top of your piece of paper today is your overall title, your main heading, okay? Mine was all about the Alps. Now, when we're writing an introduction, don't write introduction, okay? We'll know it's the introduction by the language and the information you give. So this doesn't need a subheading. We just go straight into our introduction. Okay, here's my starter. Okay, this is what I thought about writing to start off with. You, like I always say in class, are allowed to use some of the ideas that I've written, or maybe even a sentence, okay, but it has to be your own work. Do not just copy this, okay? Your teachers will know that you've copied it, okay? So use the ideas and try and change it a little bit into your own sentences. Okay, so I'm going to introduce by saying the Alps are one of the most fascinating mountain ranges in the world, okay? I've used the words fascinating to engage my readers straight away. Nice sentence starter here. Not many people know that they run through 8 European countries and attract many tourists every year. So I've given a little bit of information. 8 countries, they're European, but not named them yet. The landscape, okay, so what the actual land is like, is full of towering snow-topped mountains and tranquil lakes. So people enjoy a range of activities in both winter and summer. Okay, so they're quite interesting sentences. I've tried to vary how I start them, okay, and I've also used the conjunction so there, okay, so I've given it a bit of detail. Towering snow-topped mountains, tranquil lakes, okay, so again, try and think about some interesting and adventurous vocabulary, and then use the so to be able to extend that sentence and give a reason for a consequence. Okay, people enjoy a range of activities in both winter and summer. Okay, that's probably not quite the end of my introduction. I'd like to try and add a little bit more, but that's just an example. Okay, so what you're better off doing now is just pausing the video, looking at your introduction and writing your introduction. Okay, so do that for me now, please. Okay, once you've written your introduction, you will be on to your next paragraph. I've chosen my next paragraph to be the where are the Alps paragraph. So that's the location. Okay, to me that feels like it's the right place to start because I'm going to once I've introduced the idea of the Alps, I want to know where they are in the world. So these were my notes off my plan. Europe, all the names of the countries that it runs through, how long it was, and the shape of it as well. Okay, here we go. So notice the first thing is we have got a subheading, okay? So the subheading hints at what the rest of the paragraph is going to be about. So how do I change the note of Europe into a full sentence? Here we go. The Alps are located in Europe and form a crescent shape. Okay, so I've given two pieces of information there. Amazingly, they are over 750 miles long in total. And I've put an exclamation mark in there because it's appropriate, okay? I'm trying to get it across the fact that that's actually quite unusual, okay? And emphasising that. Most mountain ranges only run through 1 or 2 countries, but did you know the Alps run through 8? So again, there are a variety of sentences there, a question. So I will carry on that paragraph with naming all of the countries that they run through. Okay, so this is how to change your notes into full sentences. So you'll need to do that for your first paragraph now, please. So if you want to, pause the video, get your plan and write your next paragraph. Just to let you know, this is only the example of my paragraph, okay? I haven't finished it yet. I'd expect yours to be longer and have more detail in as well. Okay, so you have now written your introduction and your first paragraph. I'd like you just to stop there for today. But what I want you to do now is to go through your writing and check all of these things. Have you written in the present tense? Have you used third person? Make sure there's no I or we or me there. Have you given factual information? Not just that you think something, that's an opinion, you've given factual information. And have you made your language formal? It's still got to be appropriate for children, but it shouldn't be too chatty. It's not as if you know the audience personally, you've got to give formal language, okay? Have you informed them of something? Have you given them some information? And have you always thought about who you are writing for? Okay, so once you have written both of those paragraphs, will you finish the lesson by doing a self-check? Edit as you go along if you want to. If you've got a different colour pen or pencil, you might like to make changes in a different colour like we do in class, okay? It's really important that you are checking what you are writing, okay? If there's somebody at home that could read it through with you, then that would be really useful. Reading out loud actually helps you spot your own mistakes. So if you can do, share that as well. Okay, that's the end of this lesson for today. We'll move on to writing the next paragraphs tomorrow, but don't skip ahead too far yet. Just have a go at writing those 2 paragraphs and check in if you need to. Well done, everyone.